I'm Reed, just a normal 27-year-old guy talking about building wealth and getting your life together in your 20s outright. Let's talk about SpaceX, the company that is apparently worth more than some small countries and is making headlines with its insane IPO. But here is the thing. If you are thinking of throwing your hard-earned cash into this, you better buckle up, because this rocket ride might just be a one-way trip to disappointment. And I am not talking about a delayed flight. I am talking about your money disappearing faster than a free sample at Costco. You know, most people think about getting rich quick. They see a flashy headline about a company like SpaceX, and they think, oh my God, this is my chance to finally make it big, and they just jump in, head first, without even looking. But let me tell you, that is exactly how you stay broke, building wealth, real wealth. It is not about chasing the next shiny object. It is about patience. It is about understanding the math, and it is about having a psychological edge. And trust me, when it comes to SpaceX, the math, it is not adding up right now. I mean, $1.8 trillion. For a company that is bleeding money faster than a leaky faucet, let's just be honest, that is not an investment. That is a lottery ticket. And the odds, well, they are not exactly in your favor. Every unnecessary purchase you make, every time you buy into the hype without thinking, you are basically firing one of your money. Making employees, you are actively working against your own financial future. Now, I know, everyone is talking about Elon Musk and how he is this genius, this visionary, and yeah, he has done some incredible things. But let's be real, putting all your eggs in one billionaire's basket, that is not a strategy, that is a prayer. And when it comes to your money, prayers are not a reliable investment plan. They are saying SpaceX is blasting off like no company in human history. Musk is addressing the troops. It is all about this record-breaking IPO. Almost an $18 trillion valuation. But here is what is funny. Even though it is all about numbers, share prices, company valuations, revenue forecasts, for most people who are actually buying this stock, the numbers, they do not even matter, because you cannot arrange them in any way that makes sense. If you tried to build a financial model for this, I do not even know what you would put in it, because this is not a traditional company, not in any sense of the word. I cannot for the life of me understand how anyone is making the math work, which tells me maybe they just are not. I am not going to try to speculate on the real value of SpaceX, but I can show you what is so speculative about buying into it. And that is what SpaceX is all about, taking the fiction out of science fiction. So this IPO is that SpaceX is short for Space Exploration Technologies Corporation, which in hindsight, space, etc., would have been a funnier name. But let's just call that a missed opportunity. The opportunity the investing world has grabbed onto, though, is 555,555,555 shares of the company's stock, all going on sale for $135 per share. That is the IPO, a private company going public. Multiply those numbers out, this raises $75 billion for SpaceX, which sounds like a lot, but two important things to note here. 555 million shares, that is not actually that much. It is less than 5% of the company's total stock, but at the IPO price of $135 a share, multiplied across all of the company's 12 or 13 billion shares, that is very much. And before open trading on the Nasdaq even began today, it gave SpaceX a mind-bending market cap, like a total stock value of nearly $1.8 trillion. For reference, 10 of the most valuable companies on Earth, SpaceX at that value knocks one of them off the list. It even beats Tesla's market cap, which by this point should tell you that yes, Elon Musk is now not just a rich man, he is a very rich man. Elon Musk is just becoming the world's first trillionaire. Now, Tesla is very important to this story, because it gives us our best glimpse into explaining how on earth SpaceX is worth to investors. Somewhere in the ballpark of $2 trillion, maybe more, maybe less. Who knows? That is the fun of it, I guess. And I can show you what I mean. Tesla Motors is now a publicly traded company. When Tesla first went public 16 years ago and started selling shares to the public, let's say you bought one, it would have cost you $17, except fast forward a decade and a half, you do not own just one share anymore. Tesla split its stock, meaning they subdivided everyone's shares many times over, 15 times to be exact, across two massive splits. Same $17 value, just broken into more pieces. So the split adjusted price of each share, something like $1.13. Each share today is worth, last I checked, just under $400. So in those terms, you would have transformed a $17 investment into almost $6,000 today. That is crazy. That is like investing on the stock market and getting compounded annual returns of 44% every year for 16 years. When we are all told to generally expect an average of like 6 or 8, 10 if you are really smooth sailing. Tesla is a company that throughout its history had a pretty big rise in valuation, so in that sense, Tesla is sort of this unique outlier on the stock market, right? A big part of what made Tesla's meteoric ascent so incredible was that when it went public, it was losing money worth just a tiny fraction of what it is worth now. Its only car for sale, the Roadster. But investors saw value because they saw potential. They were not pricing shares based on what the company was pulling in. Then they were banking on electric vehicles becoming more popular, batteries, charging stations, infrastructure becoming better, that maybe one day this company could build a car capable of driving itself. And frankly, they were betting that Elon Musk was the man to do it. It is a lottery ticket on Elon Musk and his ability to execute and do things that have never been done before. It has been a very successful stock for the people who have held on to it. Tesla is now the most valuable automaker in the US with a market cap of about $85 billion. Tesla has become the world's most valuable car maker. From the point of view of an investor, SpaceX just might follow that same trajectory. And today, it has a big advantage over Tesla in that it does not need to prove it is a real business. It is already the global leader in its business. As day traders woke up this morning eager to get a piece of SpaceX, SpaceX was launching a Falcon 9 rocket into low Earth orbit. This rocket pioneered the concept of reusability. It has flown hundreds of missions, Stage 1 landing confirmed, and its payload this time. Dozens of Starlink satellites. SpaceX has thousands of them in low Earth orbit, more than every other company and government combined. This global communications network makes SpaceX billions of dollars every year. And these things, the Falcon 9, Starlink, they are not even the most impressive things about SpaceX. The company has high hopes for Starship, the company's fully reusable super heavy lift launch vehicle, meant to transport cargo and crew to space, the moon, Mars, and beyond. SpaceX also pours billions of dollars into AI, the company's artificial intelligence wing, which means if you think about Tesla and how its core business all those years ago was just electric cars, SpaceX is aerospace, its communications, and its AI all wrapped up into one that puts it at the forefront of everything. So, here's where we bring all of that back down to earth. Starting with the valuation, the IPO price of $135 a share, putting the company market cap at somewhere around $1.77 trillion. That is nowhere near in the same universe as what this company actually pulls in each year in dollars and cents. It is essentially all pure long-term money that is being priced. And I can show you, even though I can tell you right now, it is just so far out of whack, I just do not even see how it matters. As I mentioned before, I think when most people think of SpaceX, they think of the splashy rocket launches. This is a core part of the business satellite communication, that is providing internet and mobile to millions of US Earthlings. That is another part of the business. AI is the third pillar of SpaceX folded in just earlier this year, where it used to be its own standalone company. So, pretty recent but pretty important, because two of these pillars are losing a ton of money. The space division posted a loss last year of $657 million. Just in the first 3 months of this year, it is down another $662 million. AI, it is where a lot of money is being spent without a clear way to recoup that money. 2025, $6 billion loss, another 2.5 in just the first quarter of 2020. What keeps this hulking machine turning is Starlink connectivity, generated almost $4.5 billion in profit last year, and on track to do the same this year based on its Q1 results. But overall, SpaceX is spending far more than it makes, posting a nearly $5 billion loss for 2020, and nearly as much in just the first 3 months of 2026, when it acquired XAI, so that valuation of somewhere in the $2 trillion range. SpaceX's assets do not add up to anywhere near that, and neither do its profits. To what extent it is speculation or sensible forecasting, that is a matter of judgment, but it does not represent current profits. It is some sort of expectation of what they will be in about 20 years' time, and that is a big guessing game. Where will anything be in 20 years' time? Well, we can look to SpaceX's SEC filing for some clues. Because there is a regulatory obligation for it to acknowledge to shareholders what headwind risks are in the company's future. Starship, big promise but big peril. SpaceX recognizes a lot hinges on development, testing, and deployment of Starship at scale. If we are unable to achieve sufficient launch cadence, reusability, and capability, our ability to execute our growth strategy would be materially and adversely affected. Other hurdles, unforeseen technical challenges, supply chain disruptions, manufacturing difficulties, loss or damage to the vehicle or other components, regulatory hurdles, or the need for additional design modifications. These kinds of disclaimers are not unusual, but in the case of SpaceX, they are foundational to the point of being existential. SpaceX makes a point of acknowledging how it will rely on unproven technologies, or technologies that do not exist or may require significant advancement, and such initiatives may not achieve commercial viability. Speaking of viability, do you know where a big part of SpaceX's current viability comes from? Our services are subject to risks related to supplying services to the US government. Let's talk about that today. It is about a man named Elon, and he is one of the greatest business leaders and innovators the world has ever produced. It is hard to deny that to the Trump administration. Musk is a known and valued quantity. Trump owes a great deal to Musk. Elon Musk gave around $75 million to his pro-Donald Trump super PAC in the span of 3 months. President Trump must win to preserve the Constitution. He must win to preserve democracy in America. And I am not suggesting there is a direct exchange of favors here. But Musk owes a great deal to the Trump administration. SpaceX is one of the biggest government contractors in the United States.